Okay, thank you. So my name is Dr. Dinesh Selvarajah. I'm a senior lecturer in diabetes in Sheffield, United Kingdom. I've been very pleased to attend the EASD meeting this year in Barcelona. It's been fantastic weather and attended some really great sessions. My particular interest is in diabetic neuropathy. I'm also secretary of the NeuroDiab, which is the main study group of the EASD, which focuses on looking after patients and investigating diabetic neuropathy. I've been to many of the neuropathy sessions this year at EASD and attended a number of really interesting oral and poster presentations, but one of the sessions which comes to mind is the symposium we had this morning on diabetic neuropathy, which was hosted by NeuroDiab. There were some interesting talks on pre-diabetes and how increasingly we're becoming more aware that in patients with IGT and IFG, that there's a high prevalence of neuropathy in these individuals, up to, depending on the studies you look at, but between 10 to 20% of patients with pre-diabetes have established neuropathy. So I think increasingly we know we've always been taught in medical school and the textbooks tell us that retinopathy is the earliest complication of diabetes, but most of the more recent studies are now showing that neuropathy actually now precedes the onset of retinopathy. So it's becoming an increasingly recognized early complication of diabetes. In that session also we heard some really good data from Hungary, where they had a long-term follow-up study of patients which very carefully phenotyped for peripheral and autonomic neuropathy, and they looked at the predictors of mortality in these individuals. And what was really, really fascinating was that neuropathy actually predicts the mortality in these individuals. Even after you correct for all other existing risk factors and comorbidities, neuropathy increases the risk of mortality up to twofold. So that's quite harrowing data. Again, points to the need for early diagnosis and intervention for these patients so that you can try and mitigate the risk of mortality. So these are some of the quite interesting sessions which I've attended today. There was some additional interesting work from Michigan looking at the DCCT IDIC study, where patients with autonomic neuropathy were followed up for almost 10, 13 years now. So it's quite rich data which showed different risk factors for development of cardiac autonomic neuropathy. So that was another interesting session.